All right, y'all. Deep breath. Look around because this is the season the earth gives back. Not in theory, not in nostalgia, not in some cute Pinterest graphic with a quote about pumpkins and pie. I'm talking about the real thing, the dirt under your nails, sweat down your back, scratch on your arms, sore in your bones, heartbeat of the land kind of harvest. This is it. Every seed you started, every row you hoed, every blister you got swinging that hoe or carrying that bucket, every prayer you whispered for rain or for rain to stop, for sun, for enough. It's all been heading right here to harvest. Not the kind you see in a grocery store, not shrink wrapped on a shelf, but yours, pulled from your soil, picked with your hands, sweated into being. And let's be honest, there's nothing glamorous about it. Out there at dusk, bent over plants, chased by gnats, sweat burning your eyes. It's gritty, it's relentless, but also it's sacred. Yes, that's right, I said it. Sacred. Because what you're doing right now in this season in participating in one of the oldest covenants human ever made. That's right. The covenant between the soil and the soul. We told the land, I'll care for you. I'll work you. I'll feed you back what I take. And the land says back, then I'll feed you in return. That's the deal. It's the deal our ancestors lived and died by. And every time we harvest, we step back into that old agreement. We say, I'm still in, whether we grow one tomato plant in a bucket or run 10 acres of market garden. We're in. That's why harvest isn't just a payoff, it's a responsibility. And let me say it straight, if you don't pick it, you lose it. If you don't preserve it, it spoils. If you don't share it, store it, or steward it well, then all that work, all that water, all that waiting is gone. And the modern world wants you to forget about that. It wants you to believe food comes from trucks and warehouses and freezers, that you can swipe a card and solve hunger, that tomatoes just happen. But we know better. We know every tomato is a tiny miracle. Every sealed jar is a bet on your winter. Every full shelf is kind of a survival insurance. We know the truth. Harvest isn't the end of the work, it's just a pivot point. Because after the picking comes the preserving. After the preserving comes planting. And after that, that's right, you guessed it, we start all over again. The cycle doesn't stop, and neither do we. But listen, if you don't stop, just for a minute, to honor this harvest, you're missing the best part. So, what does it mean to honor the harvest? It means you see it, really see it, not as a chore, not just as food, but as something given, something offered, something sacred. Because let's be honest, you didn't make that plant grow. You planted it, and you watered it, and you hoped. But the seed sprouted when it was ready. The rains came when God sent them. The sun rose without your permission. So when that fruit ripens, that's grace. Straight up, undeserved, but invited. And that deserves reverence. It also deserves honesty. Because this season, it's hard. You're up early to beat the heat. You're hauling baskets so full your fingers go numb. You're pulling cucumbers so fast they feel endless. You're staring at green beans and wondering if they multiplied overnight just to mess with you. And when you think you're done, you're not. There's more coming. And that wears on you, body, mind, and soul. You get tired. You question if it's worth it. You wonder if buying it from the store wouldn't be easier. But here's the thing, it costs something either way. Buying it from the store costs you your connection to where your food comes from, costs your independence, your resilience, your skills. It costs you the satisfaction of knowing you can do it yourself. Growing it, yeah, it costs your time, your labor, even your sanity some days, but it gives you something the store never will: purpose, connection, grit, gratitude, legacy. So, yes, honor the harvest by honoring the cost. Honor that sore back. Honor those blistered hands. Honor the sunburn, the bug bites, and yes, even the burnout. Because the cost, well, it's proof that you showed up. And you didn't just pay in sweat, you paid in faith. Because if you've done this work for more than 5 minutes, you've lost some things. You've seen tomatoes split before you get to them. Been there. You've seen blight take plants you loved. You watched pests eat what you planted. You might have even cried over ruined rows or laughed at your own foolish plans. You've been humbled. That's right. But guess what? That loss is part of the harvest too. So you honor that. You own it. Don't hide from it. Don't pretend that every harvest is picture perfect. Don't sanitize the season because the only way you keep going is if you tell the truth that this is hard work, but this is also holy work. This is the work that builds people and it connects us to the past. Let's be clear. We didn't invent this. We had to learn it. We learned it either from family, from neighbors, maybe from YouTube and books, and of course, trial and error. We were taught by those who came before us and by the land itself. And we're teaching the next ones, even if we don't know it. Your kids are watching. Your neighbors are noticing. Your community is learning from what you do. So, how you handle this harvest, it matters. Honor it by not wasting it, because waste is disrespectful. Every fruit left to rot that could have fed someone, every jar you didn't can because you were too tired, every bushel that could have gone to a neighbor but didn't. That's not just waste, that's missed opportunity. And we're not after perfection, we're after intention. If you lose some to bugs or time, well, that happens. That's life. But when you care, you compost, you share, you feed animals, you close the loop. That's stewardship, that's gratitude, and that's how you honor the harvest. So let me paint this picture. It's evening, you're dripping sweat, your arms are scratched, your shirt's soaked, and you've just pulled another bucket of tomatoes. And for a second, just a second, you stop. You breathe in the basil, the dill, maybe the musk of ripe melons. You hear the crickets or the distant bark of a neighbor's dog. You see jars cooling on the counter, baskets full on the porch. This is the moment. This is abundance. This is survival. This is beauty. And even if you didn't need it all right now, someone before you did, and someone after you will. So we keep going. We keep honoring, because honoring the harvest means honoring the future. You're not just putting up food, you're putting up hope for tomorrow, for your kids, for the community you want to build. So today, as you pick, as you process, as you collapse in a chair with a pickle juice on your shirt and seeds stuck to your elbow, take a second and notice what the land gave you. Notice how you showed up. Notice what worked. Notice what didn't. Give thanks. Offer apologies if needed. Make notes. Plan better. Share more. Because this relationship, the one between you and the land, it matters. So again, you honor it. You honor it with your actions. You honor it with your attitude. Honor it with how you use what you've been given, and never forget, this is more than calories, more than prepping, more than homesteading trends or social media posts. This is life, and you are participating in the most human act of all, growing something, feeding someone, working with the earth instead of against it. That's not just harvest, friends, that's holy ground. So pick it, store it, share it, respect it, and above all, honor it. We'll see you on this next time as we dig into this season of abundance. And until then, stay humble, stay hopeful, and keep showing up. Good morning, everybody, and welcome in to the Farm to Table Show right here on Saturday morning. Glad to see you all in here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Bro. Where did you go? There you are. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Up early, got my cup of coffee, ready to go on a Saturday. How about yourself?
Well, as you know, my cup of coffee was early this morning because this is my evening because I'm halfway around the earth but that's okay. Hopefully, we're doing good. But yeah, we're having a really good week. And by the way, I really appreciate that proper attitude toward what we do.
Right.
Homesteading, gardening, animal husbandry, and that sort of thing. And so um, I don't think I quite realized exactly what an obligation we have back to the earth that we live on. I mean, you hear all of these fruity things that some classes will tell you about, take care of the planet will take care of you, oh, Green New Deal, all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, you know, this is kind of something that you said to me. You said that in this was that, that it was a holy thing.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever really, kind of put that together, Um, but I appreciate the attitude. I mean, it's like maybe you have the attitude that this was all about, it's just about what I can stock in my freezer this year, or I can or what. And that's not wrong, but it's just kind of like not the complete picture.
No, and it goes back to something that was said to us, and we've repeated that. The original God's original profession for us was a gardener,
Right on. Yeah, that's right.
an animal keeper, and yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly right. And I think it brings a back kind of a humble, attitude about how we treat the entire process. I like the way that you laid out. Everything was like a complete circle. And it starts all over again.
oh yeah,
But how important it was to just stop for a little bit, just stop and kind of soak it all in and honor the entire process.
oh yeah. And it is. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And those of us that have done it any little bit of time at all. I mean, I know in all the times I've gardened, I mean, there were mistakes, there were things done wrong, there was things that didn't succeed. But the so when the success comes, when it does work and everything goes right, well, that just makes to me it makes it more special because you do know what the failures are. I can still laugh about cucumber and squash that cross pollinated, and the first time I bit into that was an unpleasant experience, but it was a lesson learned about where to plant things, and how to plant things. So,
Right. And, we're in good company here with most of the people that we've gotten chat because everybody's experienced that. And our guest, the next guest that we got coming on here in a little bit is, he's no stranger to failure.
right,
I've watched his channel and I've seen some of the things that he's had, that he did. And he's got a great attitude. You know,
yeah,
it's like, okay, it happened,
yep,
move on, start over again, get back in the saddle, if you will.
right,
And so,
and that
and
is, I
then,
mean, that's so much of it, that when the failures come, you take it, you roll with it, you move on, and then when the successes come, you celebrate, and but it's like like I said, it is that cycle, and right now, I mean, we're mid July, and we're still getting rain, which is crazy, but
right,
and but at the same token, I already know people are already having to harvest those early things they planted, you know, and we seen our friend Kane the other day, video of the ladies were canning already. So I mean,
hmm,
it's like they're already harvesting things they planted early, and getting those into the canning process, and so not only preserving the food but learning too. So and
right.
that's what it's about, you know. So, I
And
mean,
one of the things, that we've said in the past, and I really agree. Listen, you can do everything perfectly all the way through your season and still get a failure, right?
oh yeah,
But how you deal with failure like that is the proper attitude. What kind of
oh, of
attitude
course,
you have against all of that.
yeah,
Um,
and I mean, there's that. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie or heard about the guy. His name Angus, something or other, called Faith Like Potatoes. You know,
I never heard
and
of it.
heard it. Well, basically the premise is this. With potatoes, you plant them and you never see it. You see
Right.
the sprout. You see the leaves come up, but you don't know whether it has or hasn't until you dig it up, until it's time to dig it up. So you have to have faith that it's growing potatoes under there. But you don't know until you pull it up, and so it truly is an exercise in faith that you because tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, things of that nature, you see the fruits on the vine, not with potatoes, and so same thing.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
so it does take that measure, of faith, and it is, when you break it down to that kind of essence of the fact that you're making a commitment and you do all the work, but at the end of the day, it takes the Lord to provide the increase, and so
Well, you said something uh, in your monologue,
mhm.
and it was don't sanitize the season.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like trying to wrap my head around that. I mean, it's like,
Uh,
call it like it is, I guess is what that means.
well, yeah, it's not a paint the most rosy, prettiest picture of the whole thing, and also at the same time, don't overlook it. Don't simplify it so much that you lose the purpose behind it and you lose the relationship to it. But then, yeah, we see. I mean, come on, listen, Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, whatever. That you see these perfect, these pictures. You see this, bushels of whatever or baskets or whatever, and you see all these perfect jars on the countertop, and that's great, but that's not, always that's not the finished product, and they don't see, as I'm sure some of our people can attest to, they don't see the sweat, dirt under the fingernails, sweat, hard work that's involved, or you going out there and you had that that rain came through, the hailstorm came through, the whatever, and you lost that through the season, or you thought you lost it, and when you go out there, you didn't lose it. Just the surface took a beating, but underneath was still good, and so there's that. And then, I mean, you and I remember, when Dad would plant those big gardens, how much work that was to bring that in, and, we know how much work it was to put it in too. Um,
Right.
you know, but yeah, I remember hours that I would give anything to have back, but hours sitting there snapping peas or, whatever,
Yeah.
hanging out, and counting, going through all that. It's hard work, but there's a reward for it, so. I think that's important. Well, bro, let's.
I would like to know over in chat, just how many people this season, especially with all the rain that we've had, and we've had this conversation
Oh,
before, but
yeah,
how many had to replant this year? Because I know a few, and I just
right,
wonder in chat how many people over there had to replant because water just simply washed it away. You know,
right.
um,
Very important. Well, bro, I think that cues up time for roll call. What do
is
you
it
think?
time for roll call? Yeah,
I
let's
think
do
it's
roll
time
call.
for roll call. All right, let me get it over here. All right.
Roll call, y'all.
I'm going to turn on the overlay so some people who may be watching on one of the other options can see everybody's. Well, let's go through the roll call. All right, first and foremost, of course, Scotty's in bright and early to turn the lights on. Good morning, Terry. Glad to have you with us. Troy Sutton, good to see you, brother. Hope you're still in. Everybody's still in there. Um, let's see, Joy Bartlett, good to see you in this morning. Let's see, here we go. Trying to read through all the little things here. I see. Skaters are worse than gnats. Hello. I would agree with that, Chris. I hate skeeters and chiggers and all those things. Yes, Keith replied that. Yep. Good morning, Rebecca Touchbayard. Yes, endless circle. Very much. Let's see. Da, 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 da. All right. Yeah. Catch your announcements. Sweet, can't wait. Yep. Hey, remember Troy is in there. I'm just trying to catch up. Oh, wait. Hang on. Rebecca said she's getting ready to drive to farmers market, so I won't be watching chat. Okay. Well, if you're listening, I'm hoping you're enjoying the farmers market. I hope that goes well for you this morning and drive safe. Yes. Uh, uh, and yes, Terry, it's it's been kind of weird this week not having the morning hangout, not having the show. But I appreciate you being in here, and we miss you guys every day too. Uh,
Sure.
and man, I'm tired. Am I tired? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's there's that point in the season when you're doing it that it's yeah you're tired. Tabler withdrawals, serious disease happening. Oh my
Oh, I see.
God.
That's a new
Sorry.
disease. We've just discovered a Tabler's disease. What's the name of that disease, by the way, Scotty?
I don't know. We'll have to come up with it. Let's see.
Right.
Busy day of chores, depending on the rain, but only mid 80s today. Well, that's nice. Stop. What? Okay, Terry had asked something. Oh, the last year's garden was almost a complete failure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't, yeah. And don't forget to don't forget to like and subscribe. Absolutely. Uh, and then Scotty, I like this. Can a homesteader ever stop? I don't think so. And Terry come back with not completely.
Hmm.
So yeah, rest in winter, but even then, the chores are different. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. Oh, Joy's still got some rain. Yes, I know that's off to the east of me. Phrase that, and so
And
uh,
will it ever end?
I'm telling you. Uh, let's see. Terry said we're getting some tomatoes and beans, and his mom has been canning green beans. So there it is. Season's going already. And Terry had never heard of faith like potatoes either. But so, uh, so, so Scotty had should have known Scotty come in there. A great movie. Yes, it was. Speaking of which, I need to go harvest my potatoes. That movie is very worth watching. Yeah, no fake booking. LOL. Yeah, I only Facebook to do a daily Bible verse. Yep. Sweaty mess later today, Terry said. Yes, you will. Good morning, Tony, our cabin in the woods. Glad to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And I see the rain has been a struggle. Say Terry said the rain's been a struggle, but he's not had to replant, but he's in raised beds because of the rocks. So yeah, that does help because you have the drain in there. Uh, oh my goodness, Scotty, I'm sorry. He said he was in here at 6 a.m. Forgot we didn't start till 8 his time. Yeah.
Right,
Uh,
that's true.
Yeah. And so, anyway, well, we're all caught up. We're glad to have you all in here. And first year of potatoes for me, so we'll see how it goes. You got to keep us posted on that, Terry. We want to know.
Right,
We talked about that on previous shows that you were trying it, so I want to know the results. You know,
right. We like to
don't,
hear y'all's success and y'all's failures, guys.
sure.
We
don't
all
be
learn
complaining.
from that.
Don't be complaining when you're sitting next to Tracy on the porch, peeling potatoes.
We don't want to
But
hear it. No.
it's
Yeah.
it's a blessing. I pray that it's a good harvest for you and all of y'all, for the ones who have gardens and things planted, that y'all's year of harvest is good. And we're going to be talking more over the next few weeks about this season of harvest and about some of the things that come with it. So this is a
Yeah.
series.
Speaking of that, have you even introduced the series yet?
No, not really. I kind of have to go back. You're gonna make me go back in my notes. Here we go. Hang
Well,
on.
yeah.
It is well. It's of course the series, the season of abundance. So
Mhm.
is what it's called, and so that's what we're going to do. This week one was honoring the harvest, and I guess I can go back real quick and pull up the. I think I think I have them all. Maybe I don't. That's funny thing is we work on this stuff, and then I put it in places, and nope, it's not there. Okay, got to go over. Did you text me that, or did we? Let's see. This is what happens when you ask me a question on the spot. But
Yeah, I'm sorry.
here we go. No, that's okay. That's all right. I did have it. I just had to know where to go. We just did. Let me see. Season of abundance, and which is kind of a subtitle of preparing for the lean times. Honoring the harvest, preserve the bounty. So you know where that's going.
That's
Feeding your
next.
family when the garden sleeps. Yeah, yeah. That's next. Is preserve the bounty. Um, Feeding the family when the garden sleeps. Saving seeds, saving stories, preparing the soil for next season. Water, fire, and heal. Surviving summer's fury, which some of us know what that's about. And week 7, mindset of the prepared. and possibly a week 8. Homesteaders Thanksgiving. So we'll see where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I want
anyway,
to
that's
share
going to be.
this. I want to share this
Uh
with
huh.
Tony. Like I said, I like when you guys, talk about your success and even your failures
Oh
here. But he
yeah,
said, I
absolutely.
harvested our onions and got 55.5 pounds. My largest one was 15.6 ounce. 15 points. That's almost a 1 pound potato.
No onion,
Oh,
onion.
onion. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
thought we were talking potato. No,
onion,
that is onion. Yeah, you're right.
onion. That's a big onion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Terry said the rain did do a number on their onions. Need to get them out of the ground today. Garlic was okay. Still working on getting the soil right in our new gardens. But yeah, definitely, Tony, that is so awesome. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. I mean, everybody's in different areas, but man, when them rains come that heavy, it is difficult. But and that's honestly raised beds for me is probably the way I'll want to go as well. But for multiple reasons, one, the drainage and that type of thing, and the wicking tubs and stuff. But I'll be honest with you, not that I'm old, but getting down on my knees and staying down like that, working in a garden and bending over and stuff like that, them days for me are that's a rough go when I got to be like that. So raised beds where I can be up at and not have to do that. That's the way I got to go. My back and knees just don't play that down on the knees, hunched over thing game. So, but anyway, well, bro, I guess everything's kind of cool and chat. Everybody's hanging out there waiting to see this thing about our special guest. So I'm going to let you, uh, you know, bring
Take it
that up.
away.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
introduce our friend that's down in the basement hanging out.
Okay, so
Bring-
we before we bring in this next guest, I just kind of want to introduce this new segment that we've started. Now, last week we had Terry with TNT Homestead on, but since then we've kind of rebuilt the segments out a little bit to hopefully make it informative and maybe hopefully a little bit of entertainment for you guys. And um, and we kind of called that the Homestead uh, Hot Seat, and I believe that's what we call it in hot seat.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Homestead Hot
Homestead.
Seat. Yeah.
Yes.
So our first victim, I'm about to introduce you to. He actually, if any of you guys were here last week, he showed up in chat. If anybody can guess who it is, go ahead and put it over in chat. I'd kind of like to see if we get anybody's good guess in there. But he did show up in chat last week,
Down there so they can see us.
and 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 he's a guy that we met at Okie Homestead Expo about 2 years ago. And we had our coffee display out there, and we were selling coffee, and of course we had our setup and everything there, and yeah, exactly, Terry, a victim, and um, and so anyway, he kind of hung out, drank coffee with us, and got to know him a little bit there. But since then, I've been checking out his material and stuff, and well, let me just kind of give you a little sample of what you can expect with this guy. But you're not going to be able to tell who it is. Well, you might because the name is going to be on the channel. I forgot about that. But
Nah.
hold on just a second. I want to just
Good,
give you guys a
good
little
morning,
sample.
good morning, Greg and Donna Duncan. Good to see you.
Good morning, Duncans.
Roll that
All
beautiful footage,
right.
bro.
Yeah, I'm going to try to here.
Thanks, Dave, for telling me I missed my nose. I posted a picture in my chat and he said I missed my nose. Fail, EIB. If you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button.
All right. Was anybody?
That is too funny. uh,
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a little sample of him, but it goes a little bit deeper with this guy. All right. So I'm going to introduce him with a kind of a little more proper way of introduction. This morning we're joined by Chris Ellis from Surviving in Alabama, the man who calls himself Hillbilly Dave Ramsey.
there we go. All
Hillbilly
right.
Dave Ramsey
All right. Well, good.
of homesteading, of course. If you've
Oh,
ever wanted to save money with a bucket, three mystery ingredients, and a whole lot of Southern charm, well, this is your guy. And I just want to welcome to the Farm to Table Show our friend from Surviving in Alabama to the hot seat, Mr. Chris Ellis from Surviving in Alabama. Welcome to the hot seat.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Ryan. I really appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's
our
a funny
pleasure.
clip. That's a funny clip because I was in the Marines and then I stayed out for 7 years and then I went in the Army after 9/11. And
Well,
one of the guys that I was in the Army with, the EIB is Expert Infantry Badge. So
okay.
so anyway, if you miss your nose, you don't. And when you're doing those qualifications, if you don't camo your face and all, you fail. So I was out there in the woods and I posted a picture and he commented back, "Hey, you failed EIB," and I had to put that out there.
No, that is good.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I was
That,
wondering
that
what
sets the
EIB was.
context. That sets the context. So yeah, there we go.
Mm,
But
Right.
that was and yeah, that's yeah. You they take camo seriously, by the way. For
that's
those who don't,
right.
you know,
And
some
so,
guys are
Chris,
artists with it. Some of us like me are just like sloppy. Get it, but yeah. But anyway, go ahead, bro.
yeah, so I just want to tell you how I really like that whole thing because I was a Dave Ramsey guy, and I know you had a video that was talking about Dave Ramsey and how you sort of followed the steps, but you kind of had your own recipe and everything about how to do that. And that by the way, our buddy Chris over here is debt free. Did you call Dave and do the debt free scream or whatever?
I did not. I
Yeah,
have
you
I
should.
I wanted to do that. I've been debt free for about 3 years now.
Right.
Um,
Awesome.
and so that's when I finally paid the house off. Um,
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
but and we recently bought a car and and I tell you what, buying a car is expensive. Because
Yes. Yes.
most of the time, most of the time, I'm cool with a $5,000 to $8,000 vehicle truck for
Mhm.
myself. But
Right.
my wife, I'm getting a little above middle age, and I try to buy her the better stuff. So we end up buying an almost new car. Oh my gosh, it's just not
Yeah.
it's not a great experience buying anymore.
Oh,
No,
wow.
it's painful. I
Very painful.
My wife, thank goodness, is she likes her cars clean and she likes all that, but she don't mind if it's older as long as it works and functions and does her thing. Um, but and I was kind of getting that way myself, and then we bought a travel trailer,
Oh,
and my truck that I owned wouldn't pull it, even though when we went to the dealership and we rated everything out, they said it would, and which it would pull it. It was just going to kill me and the truck both. But anyway, so I had to upgrade to a truck, and yeah, that was even buying a 5 year old then at that time 5 year old truck. Painful.
that must be
Yeah,
a very big trailer.
33 feet. Yeah,
That's a
so
big one.
got to be able to put the grandkids in there. Can't,
Oh yeah.
don't get the little the little 2 person travel trailer that goes behind your car. No, but gotta have room for the grandkids. It's a bunkhouse, sleeps 9, 10 people. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
were talking earlier about did you have to replant or anything earlier? By the way,
Yeah.
Right.
Ryan, that was a great monologue. But all right. So I have had to replant. I'm fixing to replant a third time, and
Man,
and the worst. I don't know about y'all, but the worst thing that I lost this year was my compost. I worked
oh,
really hard on
yeah,
building compost, and I go the extra mile, and I've got like a compost system, and I go
yeah,
the extra mile to have good, clean, good spray free compost in my garden. And I mean, I think one day we got about 5 inches in just a few hours, and
right.
it looked like a gully down right through the middle of my garden. And hey, you can replace the seeds, but it's hard to replace that compost.
Yeah. I've seen some of your previous videos where you were when you were out working your compost pile and you were out doing it, and how much effort you put into that. And yeah, it's definitely I seen the work you put in with that and how much effort to that, and to lose it. Yeah, oh, that's painful to my heart, and it wasn't even mine.
So,
So
so,
it
so
is
let
what
me
it
ask
is,
you.
and we'll survive. But that was very disheartening.
um,
Well, how did you lose it? Was it out on the ground and it just kind of washed it away? What happened to
Yes.
your compost pile? It just washed it
So
out. Wow, that's
so
crazy.
so when I make I make a couple of two or three kinds of compost piles, and I don't do them by hand like with a shovel. I got a little bitty tractor and for the front end loader, and I make compost piles in the woods with leaves. And then I also compost my garden back down, and I take my tractor, and rather than till it back down in the soil, what I do is I take that blade and I push it. I just ease that blade along the edge of the soil, and I pull up everything that I had in the garden, and then I compost that. And that is at least for me, I'm replenishing the soil with everything, all the nutrients that it pulled up out of the soil. I'm putting it back, and so I make big piles with it, and that I can get some very large piles that way, and you have to do it year by year. So that particular pile was everything from last summer that after the season was over, I composted it all. It sets all winter and I stir it, and it takes 6 months or so to compost down, and then I respread it out and then I replant. So, and I've got two gardens because I rotate between, because I don't want to plant the same thing in the same place twice.
right.
And and so I have these two big piles because of the two gardens, and I spread it all out, and I planted, and here comes the gully washer rain. And after I had spread it in the pile, it was fine, but when I spread it out, it just washed it all away, or not all of it, but most of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right, man.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could
That.
see that being hard on you, and so much of that work and effort, and you brought up something there. You made a comment about the fact that you don't reap, you rotate where you plant, and which is one, it's a biblical principle. It goes back, old at rotating around so that you put different nutrients in the soil at different places, and you don't rob all of that one nutrient from that place, and actually helps rebuild that soil in a different way by putting different things in it at different places. So I really appreciate that because a lot of people, they just put it in where they put it in, and that's where it's at, same place every year, and that's bad.
I mean, you can get
I.
away with that maybe with corn, you
Right.
know, but even I still don't do that. But I tell you, peas. I don't know how many people in here like grow pink eye peas like we do here in the deep south, but peas, they really they will get a disease, so
Right.
they'll look terrible. So I'm
Right.
always real mindful of that because of the peas.
Okay.
Yeah. So, guys, let's kind of move on because I got a little bit of questions for you
Oh.
that I'd
Oh.
like to hit you with because you are, after all, in the hot seat, and
I'm
so
in the hot
try
seat.
to make you, yeah, you are in the hot seat. So I want to try to make you feel like it a little bit. But before we do, I just kind of want to recognize here what Terry said. He said, especially hard to replace the good homegrown compost, and so sounds like uh, he may have had a little experience with that.
Right.
But anyway, moving on, y'all. So here's a few quick questions. I want to know what's the cheapest thing that you've ever built.
Oh my gosh, the cheapest thing.
Hmm.
That's a really hard question because I recycle and repurpose a lot of stuff.
You
Um,
do, I know.
um, probably a chicken pen that I built completely for free out of scrap material, and and listen to this. I built it for nothing. I literally had parts and pieces and old stuff, and a friend of mine who tore down an old store and I went over there and picked through his pile where they ripped this building down, and I got some tin and some lumber and all these things and some bricks out of this old store. And so I brought all this stuff home. It sits on the ground for years. And then I built a chicken pen out of that old building material and some scrap wire. And then I took that chicken pen, which was a chicken tractor, by the way. I took that chicken tractor and swapped it for a boat motor.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
that's a win.
Yeah, that's a
It was
win.
definitely a
So,
win.
funniest homestead fail, because you probably had some fails. I've heard about one just recently. I don't know how funny it was, but is there one that you really can remember that was kind of a fail in
Well,
your mind?
recently, I built a fish trap, and
Yeah.
it's not my first fish trap, but I try to build it. I try to do stuff on the cheap. So I had this old barrel laying around. I said, hey, I think I can make a fish trap out of that. So I got some wire baskets, like a trash can basket from Dollar Tree for $1.25. I got two of them. And I thought, I think I'll just put one on either end of it, and it'll be a double-ended fish trap. Because most fish traps are not double-ended. Okay, that was a above and beyond idea on my part that did not work well. And so I put some bait in it. I put it in the lake under a dock, and I'm thinking this is gonna. Hey, catfish like to lay under these docks. I'm gonna catch some catfish. Well, I put it out the first night. I caught two turtles and two brim. Okay, and not a single catfish. I pull it out. I put it down there. I put it down a second night. Caught two different turtles. And this has been over the 4th of July weekend. Caught two different turtles. I pull it out, let the turtles go, and put it out a third night, and caught nothing. So I had to re-go over why are catfish not getting up in this trap. So I'm still working that issue. I'm gonna be probably shooting some video over that about putting this trap out. And I've used store-bought traps before, but I'm like, I can build this thing for literally almost nothing. And
Right.
so that's a fail. It's just an ongoing project.
Right. Yeah, that was a 15-gallon bucket that you had around for a while.
The 15
I
gallon
believe,
bucket.
if I remember right. And was those waste baskets that you put in both ends of that? They look
Yeah.
like some of those little waste baskets you set like right underneath your desk or something.
Yes.
For
That's
your house.
exactly a wire basket.
Wire basket. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
All right. So another question. This is going to be easy for you. This favorite Alabama meal or drink?
Cornbread.
Mm.
Oh, love me some cornbread. Well, how do you take your cornbread, by the way?
Okay, so I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I have worked at a stone grist mill,
Okay.
and so some friends of mine own one. And when they first got that thing, they called me thinking that I know something about working a grist mill. For some reason, I don't know why they thought that I knew anything about it. I never worked at a grist mill before, but they bought this from an older man and who was retiring and couldn't do it anymore. So they bought the mill and called me, and I'm like, so anyway, so I went down there right after they bought it, and it's a big mill. I mean, they're milling stuff to sell, and
Right.
so I go down there, and the older man, he runs me through how to do it, and of course the owner's son is there with me. He's younger. I think he was about 17 at the time, and so we learned how to run the stone mill. And I tell you what, uh, we I have learned a lot about the differences in how on the commercial mills, if it's not a stone, it scorches the corn, and a true stone stays cool, and that's part of the advantage of having a stone. And I get cornmeal from them, and I worked there about maybe a year and a half or so, and I'll still go over there from time to time. But I
Well,
like it fresh, if that's an answer.
Well, yeah, that's an answer, and an answer I like. But I got a question for you. Are you getting your grits from there? You know about
Yes,
stone mill grits? Did they do
yes,
that?
yes. Because a
Oh,
grit,
nice.
the cornmeal is a byproduct of when you mill grits.
Okay.
It
So
it
they
it only the difference is when the when you're running the corn through the mill, the
Mhm.
sifter sifts out between the size of the screen of the sifter is the difference in a grit and cornmeal.
So in other words,
Excuse me.
once that stone wheel grinds it down, it won't fall through until it gets to the size that that screen is, right? Is that what you're
So
saying? Is that how that works?
it won't fall through the sifter, yes, until
Right.
it and so the stone grinds it, and there they have it comes out of the stone and into the sifter, and then the sifter sifts it out from there. It'll get down to, it's not going to get any bigger than grit size, and so it'll all sift, but the powder part is actually sifted. So when you're running through the stone mill, you're getting grits and cornmeal at the same time.
Hmm.
right.
I see. So it just once it goes through everything, they separate because of those screen differences.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah,
Oh,
that's really interesting. And I've had uh, stone milled grits, and they're good. And so had to ask because you're a Southern boy from Alabama. Like I told you the other day, I spent a little bit of my growing up years in Birmingham, Alabama, with my dad. So anyway, know a little
well,
bit
I'm
about
gonna I'm
Southern.
gonna throw in a question about that cornbread. So do you do it in like a glass of milk and and have the cornbread and milk? Have you ever done that? Do you do that? Or is that an Oklahoma Arkansas thing up
All
here?
right. So whenever I go somewhere, especially up north, they always want me to make hoe cakes.
Okay.
Um, so a hoe cake is the a food that the moonshiners used to make, because the same ingredients go into the hoe cake that go into the moonshine, because they
I
make it
got
right there on top of the steel, on top of the steel, because it was hot. So basically, hot water cornbread is a hoe cake, and it's
right.
nothing more than salt, sugar, and cornmeal, and that is it.
Hmm.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's definitely not an Oklahoma thing that I'm aware of. Is anybody else over in chat had what he's talking about there? And what did you call that?
Okay.
A hoe cake.
Yeah.
Hoe cake.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I like that.
What you do is you take salt, sugar, and cornmeal, and
Mm.
then you pour boiling water on it, and it swells, and then it makes like a dough. And then so
Hmm.
you take that, fry it in a skillet, and it's good to go.
There
Oh
you go.
wow.
Sounds good.
I'll have to try some. If I'm ever in Alabama, you make me a hoe cake. That sound
Everybody
good?
loves the hoe cakes.
I don't know. I've never had it. So I don't want to lose this opportunity because next part of our show is a little bit of a show and tell, and I've asked Chris, and I have no idea what he's going to bring, but I've asked Chris to bring something that he can show and tell to us. What you got for us, Chris?
Oh, he's digging in a pocket. Look out.
See that right there?
I
That's
do.
a name brand Gerber knife right there.
Okay.
So so some of the stuff that I have a story behind. And in fact, I have a shotgun. I've got a great story about a shotgun that I have that I take turkey hunting. So anyway, this knife, I have an outdoor edge knife that I really loved. I don't know if y'all ever used outdoor. I wish Outdoor Edge would sponsor my show, but I have used those things. I've skinned deer out with them. I put them in my pocket. It's an everyday carry, but I lost mine. And so this is a Gerber. So I was at the lake one day and I lost my knife. And I still to this day don't know if it's in the water. I have no idea. I don't know where it is. So my daughter, we were on the boat and we go over to a city park, which is um, right there. They have a park up against the lake where they have like a little beach area and stuff like that. And we park the boat and go over there. because they have bathrooms and stuff like that. So I took my daughter and my wife over there to that city park. We just docked the boat, and I'm like, man, I lost my knife. You know what? So we uh we were there. There were some picnic tables there at this park. There is not because of the time of year it was. There wasn't hardly anybody in this park. Period. And so I'm looking on top of this table and I see scales where somebody had cleaned a fish right on top of this park bench or this picnic table. And she says, "What's that?" And she points down underneath the table, and there was this knife. And so I have been carrying this knife ever since, and I've sharpened it. I don't know how many times now, but that knife, like the one I bought, I lost, but this one that I found or she found, I can't seem to lose it. So it stayed in my pocket all this time.
Well, there you go.
Okay. That's something you should never leave home without, right?
There it
The
is.
everyday carry.
Yeah, yeah, right on. So, real quick before we move on, I want to ask you three quick questions.
Oh, here we go. Rapid fire. Do-do-do.
Rapid fire. Here we go. Sweet tea or coffee?
Coffee,
Duct tape or baling wire?
duct tape.
Favorite cheap homestead tool? You might that one wasn't cheap. You found it.
That is cheap homestead tool.
Yeah, your favorite one.
Probably my hoe. And I found it too. By the way, it's like 100 and something years old.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's even got my hoe that I use has it's like this. It's been used so much it's concave like this.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if they intended it to be that way or if it just the blade wore down that way. But
Right.
I honestly don't know how old this hoe is. I would say it's from it might be from the 1800s.
Wow.
And I actually found it. And it was the handle had already way rotted off. And it had the old square screw in it that I don't even know when they quit making them, but it had a square head.
Right.
And I put a new handle on it, and I use that today.
Hmm. And what
There you
makes
go.
it your favorite? Because it's old or because it's extremely useful? It's just a cool thing you like to have in your hands or shop.
Probably because it's the cool factor, and
Yeah.
where I got this from
Hmm.
was next to an old homestead where they had cotton back in the day. So
Oh,
actually, this could be really, really. I wish somebody would tell me how old it is, but it's 100. It might even be 200 years old. It's that old,
Wow.
and it was blacksmith forged. You can see the blacksmith
Hand
marks on it where they
forward.
forged it.
Oh, nice. Very
yeah.
nice.
That's very nice. So, bro, I guess we better move on because we are just
We,
about 7 minutes before the hour.
yep.
And first of all, I want to thank Chris. Chris, where can people find you?
Surviving in Alabama on YouTube.
That's it.
Terry, can you share that link again? I know Terry shared it earlier in the
Yeah, he
chat.
did.
Actually, let me go back here. Let me see if I can find it. I'll pin that. Um, yeah. Let's see. I see. We've got some replies going on with the. There it is. Let me pin that.
About their favorite tools, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
okay,
needle nose pliers was one
yeah,
of them.
I
Yeah,
just
that's a
pinned
good
that.
one.
I just pinned that link, folks, to Chris's channel. Terry was kind enough to share that for us. So his at Surviving Alabama 5584 on YouTube. So y'all can
Right.
go check that out. I recommend it. He's got some learning stuff. Oh, there's the link again. We'll pin it twice. Um, Thank you, Terry. Um, yeah, and got some funny stuff as you've seen with the little short reel coming in with the with the camouflage, and then just some pretty cool stuff on how he does things and everything. And so definitely go check Chris out
Yeah.
with his
If
channel over there.
if
And,
you're the kind of person who don't like to waste money, you guys go check out Chris because he's always coming up with some ingenious ways for you to work around some of your common things that you use and maybe some uncommon things you use. I want to tell you something real quick though. and I didn't know this. I'm almost ashamed to tell you, but what I seen on Chris's channel was how you pour oil or fluids out of those little bottles. It's got the little neck on it there. He said you don't do it like this. You got to turn it over and put it on the other side, and it won't spill a drop. And I watched him do that. I think, how old are you, son?
You'd be surprised how many people do not know that.
I
Yeah.
did not know that. I'm just
And they
being
can't open a
honest.
feed bag either. Because the first thing they
No.
do is whip out a knife. And all you
Oh,
got to do
yeah.
is pull the tab.
Well, I know every time I try to pull those doggone strings, it's not like, which one is it? Sometimes I get lucky, pull the right one, but I don't know how to tell the difference.
You pull it from right to left.
From right to the left, no matter
That's
which way
right.
you're holding the bag,
When the tab is facing you, you pull it
Yeah.
right to left.
right
Yep.
to left. I'll try to remember that.
If you try to do it left to right, that's not right, because when they run the seamer, the seamer, which is like a big
Yeah.
sewing machine, when they run the seamer on it, they seamed it that way. So you're going against how they seamed it.
Right. Okay. Makes sense to me. And next time I'm there, I'm going to remember this little tip, and I'm going to try it, and then I'm going to come out and call you out if it don't work for me.
It's gonna work. If you
I
pull it
believe
right
it.
to left, it will work.
Right to left. All right, man. Good advice, And listen, Chris, we appreciate it, man. It's been a blast. And seriously,
Well,
guys, you guys go out and check out Chris because
Yeah. I'm going to share
got a
this
good
one
channel.
comment. This is from our friend Scotty. Said, check
All
your
right.
pocket. Should sub to him, for he is a cheapskate. LOL. So
Oh,
somebody,
yeah. Yeah. Anybody's name that says, starts with check your pockets. Yeah, you're right.
no way.
Yeah.
Listen, that's what I appreciate about Chris. It's that old military thing. You don't waste nothing. You make things out of whatever you can find, and so I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Well, Chris, I appreciate you joining us. I don't know if you want to hang out with us through the end, but I get to wrap
I'll
this
hang
thing
out
up.
with you through the end.
All
I'll be
right.
glad to listen. Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you, buddy.
thanks, Chris.
All right. Well, folks, we are up against it, but we got to go over to the Redneck Weather Report because we would not be complete if we did not do that. So let's go check in with our good friend, Jack Dyer, and the Redneck Weather Report.
Hey, good morning, Rednecks. It is 73 degrees this morning, July the 12th, 2025. We got a 10-mile-an-hour southern wind. Feels like 74. Dew point 68. Thunderstorms and flooding is probable. We're going to get to 86 today. God bless y'all. We'll see you again tomorrow. Hey, good.
All right. Well, thank you, Jack, for that. Prayers for you and your bunch out there. Hope the flooding don't get you too hard.
No kidding.
But I know it's not. It don't take too much up here right now with the amount of rain we've had. But anyway, so thanks to Jack. Go out and check Dyer Family Farm. He does the Redneck Weather Report every morning, and of course Sunday night. The Sunday Homestead Sunday, his time is 7:00, and so he'll be on 7 p.m. Central Time for hanging out with the Dyer Family Farm over there, and they've got some great videos as well. So go check that out. Anyway, it is time, bro. Hang on, here we go.
All right.
That's right. It is time for the Brain Buster. If we have watermelon, shouldn't we also have fire melon, earth melon, air melon? We can call them the elemelons.
Elemelon. Now, I'm going to have to think about that a while, bro. Watermelon, earth melon, fire melon,
An air melon.
and air melon.
Sounds like a disco
Earth,
group.
wind. Yeah, it does. Earth, wind, and fire melon.
There you go.
That's funny.
Flashback to the past. But anyway. So the elemelons. Anyway, I was really down low on the bottom of the barrel for that one today, folks.
Man, you was digging deep on the bottom of the barrel, bro.
Yeah, but that's
okay.
all right. Got to be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so moving on, it is time for quote of the day. Real quick, we'll get us on out of here. As of course, it is tied in. The farmer has patience and trusts the process. He just has the faith and deep understanding that through his daily efforts, the harvest will come, and then one day, almost out of nowhere, it does. Robin Sharma said that. But anyway, there it is. We have patience and trust and faith, and that's what it takes. And then one day, there it is. So there's your quote of the day. Um, I am, man, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go over just a minute. I'm going to do the upcoming events because coming up very soon, September 5th and 6th, is the Ozarks Homesteading Expo in Marshfield, Missouri. Super looking forward to that. The over 40 speakers and presenters. It's 2 days. It's a great deal. It's $50 for the 2 days. It's an awesome deal up there. A really great event. Looking forward to being up there. Of course, September 26th and 27th, our very own Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous at the Southeast Expo Center in McAlester, Oklahoma. And that, too, is continuing to grow and develop. They have so many things. I encourage you to go check that out. OklahomaHomesteadRendezvous.org, or you can get them out there on the old Facebook. Same thing with Ozarks Homestead Expo. You can go to the .com, or you can find them on Facebook. And then Homesteaders of America Conference, October 10th and 11th. Front Royal, Virginia. That one is sold out, but hey, you never know. Keep your eyes out. Go check them out anyway. Homesteaders of America. They have a lot of great information there. 2026 is already starting to get dates out. Okie Homestead Expo is March 20th through the 21st. Next year, that's the weekends they've got planned. They have announced that Dr. Temple Grandin is going to be there this year, so super excited. Looking forward to that. That's a big deal. The 10 Killer YouTube meetup is out. It is mid-April. I'll get the dates set up for next week. I just seen the flash, but I didn't get the dates. So 10 Killer YouTube meetup is in April. Mid-America is going to be at Lake Texoma this year in May, so we'll get those dates and get those out as well. But again, you can find 10 Killer YouTube meetup and Mid-America YouTube meetup on Facebook for more information. Check your pockets. Douglas came in this morning. Good deal. Good to see you, Dougie. Glad to see you with us. For those who know who Dougie is, anyway. There we go. That is the upcoming events. So we appreciate everybody being in here. That is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Show. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building stronger communities for now and in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button. Give us the old thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And if you're not already, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversations about food, farming, and community. Thanks again to Chris for coming on with us and hanging with us this morning and being willing to be in the hot seat a little bit and sharing some funny stories and some great stuff. So go check him out at
somehow I think y'all's video number count is going to go down since y'all had me on here.
Uh-oh.
I don't know about all
that. Epic fail. No. Just kidding. No,
anyway, I did see one. I'm going to interrupt. She just got a beautiful watermelon and cantaloupe at the farmer's market. Congratulations, Rebecca. Good deal.
Okay.
Yeah. Always got to encourage that. Anyway, until next time, keep your roots deep, your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like you. And remember, we are #stronger together, #connect and grow, #think outside the big box store, shop local, #tablers unite, and any other ones that popped up in that chat this morning that I didn't catch. Anyway, be a blessing to someone today as you go out. Sometimes all it takes is a smile. And now is how we finish each and every one of our episodes of the Farm2Table Show. Prepare for the unexpected and
keep it local.
All right. See you all on the other side. Here is Hank to take us away. Take it away, Hank.
Take it away, Hank.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.
Thank y'all.